Okay, so brake fluid flush, not many people do it. But look at in here. The master cylinder has, look how black it is. Get really close and look at the nice blackness of that brake fluid. And then look in new brake fluid. Nice and clean, and a little yellow tinge. So what that black is moisture getting into the brake fluid. Because brake fluid is, call it a hydroscopic. And so it absorbs water. That's why you need to keep a good seal on your cap and keep your cap on your master cylinder. So what happens is water gets in the brake fluid, starts rusting out your calipers, your brake lines, and then you start having brake problems. So when you clean it up, you won't have problems. So in order to bleed your brakes and get all the brake fluid out, each caliper has a bleeder.
Nipple.
Yeah, a little nipple. You can pull off a little, it's a little plug, just so dirt don't get into it. And then you loosen this little nipple right here. Now, so this is how you bleed the brakes. Loosen that little bleeder, and just by gravity, fluid will come out. But you have to take the cap off the master cylinder so there's not a vacuum. It doesn't create a vacuum. So that's good. Like that. Let's do the other side too at the same time. Just wait till the master cylinder. Get the pliers. Okay, pull this one off. 10 millimeter. Do about, say it's a half a turn, there's one turn, another half a turn, I think about 2.5 turns, 3 turns, right before it comes out, it'll just start dripping out. Or if you want, just take it out, make it run faster. See, there's a little hole in there, and then it comes out at the top. So that's all that is. So it'll drip out. This is a slow way to do it with gravity. But it works. And then you keep an eye on the master cylinder. Make sure it doesn't go empty. Otherwise you get air introduced into the system. And then you have to start the whole process over again. So don't let anyone distract you. Okay. Well, I do. Okay, right there. Go ahead and loosen the head cock. It's up in that hole.
Okay, there's a little drainage. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Got stuck in there.
Why are we draining it?
We're draining it so we can flush it, put a brand new cooling.
New upper and lower radiator. So open the cap so it flows faster. Go back.
Is the cap up here?
Yep, that one there. There you go. Now it's going to flow faster. Where it's still aimed. Correct. Check this. Check your cap and the rubber on it. It looks good. It's not ripped or cracked. So this is properly working. See, these have a spring in it. So when it has a pressure rating on the spring, the pressure is, it doesn't say it. Usually they're 14 to 18 pounds. When the water pressure is 18 pounds, it leaks out into the overflow. So this up here.
You want to take the whole cap off, or do you want to put it like that?
The faster the better, so if you can take it all off. That's good. That's fast.
Yeah, it's good.
So I'll start with the top radiator clamps. See if we can get to them without removing too much stuff. So we're doing brake fluid at the same time. Make sure it's tight. First clamp. Boom. Oh yeah. There we go. Cute. Because after 10 years, rubber starts going bad. Change them out. And another clamp is back here.
We gotta make sure that we drain everything from the engine bay, right? First.
For the bottom one, yeah.
So
When that stops draining, and we're good.
It may start leaking from that side, right? Yeah.
I'll work on it a little bit. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to get the channel locked.
That's it.
That's it. The spring clamps. Spring clamps work really well for 10 years or so. What I like doing.
You can hit it from over here. See it a little bit better.
That's the master cylinder.
See how nasty and corrosive is that? It's good to change it, you know, 5-10 years, whatever. Get rust. If you get rust in here, that rust can go inside your engine, and it can rust it out, and it will have problems with the water pump, and the radiator can get rust inside of it, and eventually we'll have bigger problems. See it? Kind of pressing it. That's the top pad, so I'm gonna remove it.
Watch this, 'cause it's getting low.
Get out of the way. Bam. And then I believe good to go.
Is there anything open today?
I don't think so.
Open up later.
So I'm taking the bottom cap because I don't have no access from the top. It's really hard to get it from the top, so to get the bottom hose, I gotta take all the pins, plastic pins. There's a couple, there's like 10. Ooh.
So we let the front gravity feed is dripping out the brake fluid from the fronts, catching them with buckets, and right before it goes down to the master cylinder, we don't want air introduced into the master cylinder, otherwise you get spongy brake pedal. I mean, then you pour some more of this in. So some more clean stuff. So now just let it drip. You overfill it so you could let the old stuff drain out, and have to kind of shake it just to see the new stuff, because the new stuff is crystal clear. You see it in there? Look at that. Now it's clean in there. And also you can put a light when it's lower, and then you can see the difference. Here, let me get my phone on. So then you put a light like on the side, and you can see where the fluid is by shaking it. You can see the line, but it's so clean now it's hard to see it. Right. So we're going to put the upper radiator hose on. You have to put the clamps on first, the spring-loaded clamps, the original. Get this in there. Always do the hard side first. Hard side first. I'm gonna work with it. There you go. Get it all the way on there. And the top one. The top one goes up here. There we go. Go back and forth. You take the channel locks. That's it. Release them. Same on the bottom. Closer. Locked actually, so sometimes these clamps will lock, and then you have to hit it with a flat screwdriver to get it to unlock.
Take about 10 plastic bolts. Not that hard to take off, but they break off easily, so you gotta be very careful. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can take the whole cover off. I would recommend that better before even starting the job, but right now I have it pinned down. I gotta work around it. And then over here, you see this clamp over here? This clamp is for the bottom hose. It's really easy to access. And just gotta take that off, and that's it. Alright, good. Usually when they start going bad, they're really hard and crack, and they have like rust in it. These seems to be pretty nice. How can you reuse this? But whatever. We can put brand new ones in it. No harm. I can see the upper one. Make sure the clamp is up, facing up, so you don't have to struggle with that. And this one facing down, and about 3 or 4 inches up. Watch your hands. And then there is 2 holes here. put it in. Gotta use your imagination and kind of play around to find it. Not exactly sure if you can see it, but you know what? Let me start with the top and then work on the bottom. So that's pretty easy to do. One there. Maybe you can hit it from the top. Can you see it? Yeah, you can zoom in.
I see an eyeball.
Oh, you're there. There you go. I went in. Yeah, make sure it goes all the way inside.
Nicely tired.
See it right here? Make sure it goes in. Completely in. That's it. Then you just gotta put the clamp in and we'll serve the jet.
This is how much fluid came out of the first side. It's the front side, so we got front and rear. Right and left, actually. Ugly. Okay. Let's put it in there. Then you can see how dirty it is. So that's how dirty it was. That's rust, that's contaminants, all in the brake fluid. Ruining your lines and your calipers, which are expensive. So this is the antifreeze. It looks a little rusty. So we're going to, we flushed it. We're going to put fresh antifreeze in. Here are the brake pads for the car. These are the rears, that's why they're so dinky and small. They are quality ceramic brake pads.
Let's go to the next one. This is how NASCAR people do it.
Pulling off the plugs off the top of the bleeder valves. Bleed the bag. That's it. Turn it about 3 turns. Let it air dry. Gravity feed. And at the same time, do the brakes.
Those are 12s?
Yeah.
12 sockets.
Give me a flat screwdriver. I had one somewhere. The long big one. So now we're gonna do brake pads. So take it out, and you can compress. You can't compress it, but sometimes you compress the piston just before you take it off. But you can't. These are the type that turn. So you have to take.
Oh yeah, the turn, so you're gonna need that.
Yeah. pulling the caliper off. And these are the type that they have to twist in on the rears of the Honda. So put them out of the way. See, these have springs, so it keeps the pads away from the rotor, so you don't hear the pads as you're driving. But they were low. Look at the difference. Friction material. We got only 10% left. Now, how was this one? We want to put that the same way.
There you go.
Like that. So we'll use this one. Okay. Put these two on the other side.
Want me to start on the other side?
Yeah, sure. There's a 12. And you pull off these little shims. And put the new shim in. Match them up. That's it. This one goes on the bottom. Top one. Match it up. Unless they're identical either way. Yeah, it looks like they're identical either way. There. There we go. That's the way to do it. The center has a clip in it that holds it. Make sure it doesn't rub. It's not rubbing on there. So. And you put the pad in. With the feeler. Yep. You're right. Let's put the grease.
And new clips or no?
Yeah, new clips right here. So we're gonna put grease on these. You reminded me. Put grease on these, where the guide hits it and slides easier for the brake pads.
What's up? Oh, we gotta put grease.
Yeah.
Yep. You gotta grease them? I mean, you got some grease?
Yep.
Alright.
Get the grease for you. Spin the rotor, make sure it's not hit.
So there is to put in. We gotta put those little clips, one on top, one on the bottom.
Well, I don't have holes for it.
They don't?
This has holes.
Oh, okay. So that is not really that
See?
important. So.
These have the holes, and they forgot the holes.
No holes. Alright, good. No worries. The caliper will do the job.
So this is called disc brake quiet. What it does is you spray it on the back of this. It's like a glue, high temperature glue, and when you release the brakes and the caliper opens up just a hair when you release the brakes, it stays and sticks to the inside of the caliper and pulls it away from the rotor, so you don't hear this while you're driving without pressing the brakes. So that's what these will do if these had holes in them. I mean, maybe I can drill holes in them, but why do all that? So put them on like this. That's it. That's glue. You let it dry. The heat will weld itself to that. You can weld itself to that. Now the calipers, we still have to tighten them in.
You want me to take him off and do it in the floor?
Yeah.
Alright.
For the rear brake calipers, and it helps you push the caliper, the piston back in the caliper. You take this and this, stick it in like that, and you take your caliper. You see the two grooves in it? Okay, you ready? So to get the piston back into the caliper, twist it. So there's two grooves into the piston. You got these little pegs.
You need to hold the caliper or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There we go. See? As you do that, keep tightening this. This pushes the piston in. Piston goes in, you tighten this. Piston goes in, you tighten this.
Yeah, here you
Piston goes in. Tighten it up. Keep tightening it. See how I'm doing it, have you? Tightening it up. So you turn this on, piston goes in, and it gets loose in there, so you have to tighten this up. There it is. It bottomed out. So now you loosen this up. That's it. Now you have the space. Actually, you're supposed to use one of these. Oh my goodness. Go ahead and twist that one.
twist it in? The other one? Okay. Alright. There. This box away. I'm using it. fasten it, it's tighter, tighter and tighter, and then you tighten it. Sometimes. What a mess up here.
So you take the pins out, you dip them in grease, put them back in. Boom. Get it all moist in there and get the rust out of there. And you squish it back in. That's it. I already did that one. And clean the outside. So you don't need grease on the outside. And put this on because now it's bigger. There we go. You got my 12 mil. I have a problem with it if it started already. With a small wrench like that, I like to double the wrench up and just tighten it. Boom. Like that. That's it. Great job done.
That's it. I'll go a little bit deeper in there. About right. Don't go too much in because then you can mess up the seal.